Hey, it's Maureen McCann with Promotion Career Solutions, and today I'm talking to you about job search and resume myths. There's so many people looking for work these days, and I want to make sure that I've addressed at least a couple of these myths. And please share in the comments below any other myths that you hear so I can debunk them. The first myth that I want to bust is the idea that the more jobs you apply to, the better chances you have of landing the right job. I totally understand why you might think that. It makes perfect sense. You keep swinging until you inevitably hit. And while that does make sense from one perspective, actually the opposite is true. You really need to invest some time and energy in how you apply to jobs online. The more tailored your application is, the more aligned it is to the specific job where you're applying, the better chance your resume will get screened in through the application process. So when it comes time to do job search, remember quality over quantity every single time. As an executive resume writer, I get this question all the time. How many pages should my resume be? The answer really depends. There's lots of people who say 1, there's people who say 2, there's some situations where 17 pages is completely acceptable, but it really depends on where you're applying. So the 17-page resume, I know a lot of people are like, what are you talking about? When you're applying to the Government of Canada, they have very specific requirements. You have to hit every single one of them. They use an applicant tracking software system that measures how well you meet each of the criteria. So if it takes 17 pages to get your answer to those questions, then that's how long it takes. In the private sector, a 17-page resume is almost unheard of. Most people who are advocates of the 1-page resume are probably pulling out their hair. But the truth is, you really do want to have somewhere between 1, 2, and 3 pages. I've written 4-page resumes for executives with 30 years of experience that I could have easily pared down to 3 pages or 2, but they wanted to include things like their publications and presentations that they've done. And those lists can be quite lengthy. So the answer to the question of how long should the resume be is as long as it takes to satisfy the needs of the employer to a point. The Government of Canada uses robotics to be able to screen those resumes. If the private sector is having a human read through those resumes, there's no way they're going to be able to read 17 pages. So keep your audience in mind when you write your resume. 1, 2, maybe 3 pages max. A third myth I hear all the time is, it doesn't really matter where I work, just as long as I do this type of job. I could do it anywhere. True, you probably could do it anywhere, but you want to specify to each industry, specifically every company, why they should pick you. So if you've spent your entire career in aerospace, just because you see how your skills are transferable to healthcare doesn't mean that they're not going to choose someone with an entire career worth of healthcare experience over you. So it's really important that you get into the mindset of the person who's going to be reading your applications and answer the question, why should I pick you, an outsider from our industry, over someone who's inside our industry and knows it inside out, backwards and forwards, and probably has a well-established network as well? Answer that question and you'll do much better transitioning from one industry into the other. Myth number 4, career professionals tell you what you should be when you grow up. I wish I had a magic wand and I could help people understand exactly what they want to be when they grow up. And I am talking about people over the age of 45. There's lots of different things, paths that you can choose in terms of where you decide to go next. Really, it comes down to you. A lot of people don't want to do the reflective work to think about what it is that they love to do most. And so I'll often tell people in advance, I will help you find the answer, but you've got to do the work. I'll give you all the questions so that you're able to come to your own conclusion. But at the end of the day, no one should ever tell you what you're going to be when you grow up, because that's a choice made only by you. You're the only one who knows your circumstances and what you really enjoy the most. Career professionals have been around for a long time. I know a lot of you are just coming to the realization that this profession even exists, and you may not understand exactly what it is that we do. Our job is to work with clients to help them understand how to make smart choices about where they choose to be next in their career. We also help shorten timelines, get you back to work faster, and help boost your confidence so you know exactly what you're going to say to potential employers when the time is right. We may not have all the answers, but we've been studying career development for years. When you're working with a career professional, make sure to look for someone who's certified and that you're comfortable having a conversation with. And the last myth I'll talk about is resumes. What format should you use? It really depends. There's some situations where a chronological resume makes perfect sense. Some people are adamant that functional resumes don't work because they raise a lot of red flags, and that's true to a point, which is why hybrid resumes exist. It's the combination of chronological and functional. And there are a lot of examples where you might be able to use that type of format. But at the end of the day, you really have to take a look at what it is you have to offer, what your experience has been thus far, and what it is that the employer is looking for. There are no ultimate wrong answers. All there is you putting your best foot forward in a way that the employer can understand what value you have to offer the position or the organization. Again, remember, what's in your brain isn't always what comes out on your resume, so make sure you sit down and do some reflecting about what it is you have to offer potential employers. Thanks so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed today's video. If you have any questions or comments or more myths, please let me know in the comment section below, and I look forward to seeing you online again soon.